So Deep Powder, it's inspired by true events that happened in the early 80s. And it's about there was a group of boarding school kids who were trafficking drugs between South America and the Northeast and then distributing them. And 17 of them were caught and expelled. And one of those students, there were fatal consequences. And it was really amazing to see a group of kids of that kind of privilege, what happened to them when they got caught, and who they became. So that's kind of one line of the story, but the heart of the story is really a love story between Shiloh and Haley. So
now, after I saw it, I went home and was Googling away, and I actually couldn't find that much on it. So how much of what we see in this movie is factual?
So that's a really tricky question to answer. So if you Google it, you do find the New York Times articles, and 60 Minutes did a piece on it called The Preppy Connection. But I would say it's really inspired by those events. It's not based on those events. It's not the life story of those people. It's really taking that as a starting place and then going from there.
So is there any research? Were you just going with the article or maybe interviews too?
So I was actually tangentially involved. I was in boarding school at the time, and I knew a bunch of those kids. And the Natasha character is based on one of my best friends from that time.
And I guess this is a good semi-awkward segue, but clearly this is very, very illegal and you shouldn't do this, but peer pressure can do things to you. So how far do you guys think you would actually get in this process before you raise the red flag and you're like,
Personally? Is that what you mean?
Oh yeah.
If I put myself in the shoes of my character, I think I would go all the way. Yeah, I think it's pretty, he really wants to accomplish something in his life, and I think this is a golden opportunity. It's not the smartest thing, but I think that it's very, relatable that somebody would try and sort of figure this out. If something like that dropped in your lap and you have no other sort of options in front of you, I would kind of try to take it all the way.
How about you?
Well, the actual event, it was an annual tradition for these kids, and so I mean there have been other successful runs to South America to trafficking drugs back. So it didn't feel like it was a sort of as dangerous as it seems now. And I would never attempt to do anything like that personally, but as Natasha, she was just fearless and she really didn't think about the consequences, and this, between her relationship, she wanted to help Danny, and she knew that this was like his ticket, and his ticket to freedom, and she didn't recognize that it would potentially be something that could have the consequences that it did. She didn't realize that she could hurt herself or hurt somebody that she loved.
Now, how about that relationship? Because inspired by true events, was that relationship a real thing while all this was going on?
So I would say with anything that's inspired by true events, which so much when you're a writer, everything that you write, no matter what, is somehow in the mix, inspired by something, right? It's a scene. You may not even be aware of how something that you see, whether it's a piece of art or a film or a person that you meet, that somehow shows up in your work in some way. So in terms of the love story, I would say, well, first of all, my parents are from two very different kind of socioeconomic backgrounds. My mother's kind of like Upper East Side kid, very privileged kids, that whole kind of Harvard, St. Paul's kind of world. And my father was from the Lower East Side, son of a tailor, and nobody in his family, including him, went to college. So I'm really a product of that union and those two worldviews, and it's something that I'm very interested in. So I think that in some ways that came from part of it.
And nowadays, especially because maybe I just have Spring Breakers on the brain, but you could have taken this story and gone the flashy teens gone wrong angle and kind of ditched the whole emotional section of it. Was that important to you to kind of flesh it out and have a well-rounded piece that you can connect to?
No, I wanted to make a really disposable piece of shit, but I couldn't.
You failed.
I didn't have enough money. No, I mean I'm someone who's really interested in the process. I love actors. I mean, I really love working with actors. I love collaborating with the cinematographer, the editor. I mean, that's what's really important to me. So, yeah.
And how about for you guys? Can you describe what type of actor's director she is?
I mean, you know.
We had a very, we had a, it was an intense it doesn't matter. We had an intense sort of experience with each other, and so, we were all very open and honest with each other. Mo, we sort of exposed ourselves and our fears and our insecurities, and kind of went from there. And she was always so supportive and encouraging. Just a breath of fresh air for me, and there was just this really special camaraderie. I'm speaking up to you, sort of camaraderie, and I think I'm very sensitive, and Mo's very sensitive, and so we work together well. And I'm just speaking completely from the heart from my experience, viscerally with Mo.
No, I'm just joking. No, I mean, I think the thing was, for me, was really, sometimes you sign up for a part and you think you sort of know it, and there's not a lot of directors that maybe have a larger view of the character than you do, and so this most special thing was sort of coming with an idea and having Mo really give me much more and have a much deeper well than what I sort of experienced, what I thought was there. I mean, so that was something that was special, that she always knew more and always had bigger ideas than what I thought was really special about the part. So there was something that I saw that I really connected to, and then she had something much deeper. And that was what was so special. It was different.
And how about your own personal process here? Because I loved how, you feel the performances feel very natural in this movie, but at the same time, they're two people with big arcs and also people that act impulsively. So do you have to be kind of methodical to make sure you hit the right beat at the right time?
I think in hindsight, you probably want to do a lot of those things, but maybe with being impulsive and having almost like the bull at the gate, like Danny wanting something to change that we can sort of burst out. Maybe it's the same thing about making a movie, and just in each scene trying to just do that, and then ultimately not really looking back or knowing what added up and what didn't add up. At least for me, I think that, like I said before, Mo always had a bigger idea than what I did.
I didn't really think about sort of the nuances, and I think that it is nuanced and all of those things, but Natasha was definitely an interesting character to take on. I had a lot of fears going into it, and Mo just gave me the confidence to go for it and to sort of shed those fears and plunge in, and to be the impulsive girl, to be the girl who isn't shy, to be the girl to make mistakes and not think about how it might harm somebody. And I tend to be much more modest and thoughtful about the decisions that I make. Actually, I'm probably not. I think about it. There were some parallels between Natasha and I, but as far as how impulsive she was, there was no really easy way around it. You kind of just had to shed your fears and to jump in the cold water and not think about freezing anymore. And which I did, which actually happened. Definitely plunged in some cold water. And it was just a learning experience. We developed these characters together.
I think that in some ways both Haley and Shiloh have this incredible raw emotion and intelligence, and it's really important to really respect that and honor that. And then the job, at least as I see it, my job is to create a sense of emotional and intellectual trust, because I think that then allows them to kind of fall into particular scenes where you have no perspective. You should be so inside of it, especially with emotional scenes or scenes like with anger. If the actor is starting to feel self-conscious or feeling like they have to self-modulate, I think that can start to get a self-conscious performance. And so I feel like my job is to try to create a sense of trust and to allow that sense of freedom in the moment. How can I help them be more present? And create a trust so that I'm aware of what needs to happen, that they can kind of let go of that and respond spontaneously and authentically.
And now, Shiloh, when do you feel more self-conscious? When you're running on the beach in Ecuador, or when like you're kind of revealing yourself very emotionally and like you're on the phone with your mother in there? Like, does one make you more uncomfortable than the other?
I think what's pretty funny is that scene running on naked on the thing. I don't know what shot is used, but there was one where he was sort of close to us, and I remember sort of thanking God that I was hitting the water, and I dove into the water, but it was not so deep, and so I landed like my ass was still out of the water.
That's what they used.
But what's funny is when we finished that movie that day, I flew straight to New Zealand, and I was there for like, my back hurt so bad. So ultimately that was what got me the most. Oh my God, my back was like hurt so bad from that. Anyways,
I think there were a lot of mishaps, like we were punching each other in the face.
I was not punching her in the face, by the way. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I mean, I think like Mo said, that was pretty comfortable. I mean, I know Mo had to do some tweaking to get me in the right place, but I think that's much more comfortable than sort of something that you might be more uncomfortable with, which would be your body or something like that.
And speaking of the physicality, can you guys actually ski and skate? Did that just happen to work?
Oh, I took lessons. I mean, I took lessons, and no, I'd never ice skated before. But I loved it. I'm such a respect for hockey. Seriously, I love hockey. It was really cool. I didn't quite get good enough, I don't think, but it was great. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
You sell it pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was all me.
It was all me skiing. I also took a lesson, and my experience was not as successful as Shiloh's. I have not skied since, and I probably never ever will again. There's like a funny story. Should I tell the story? Yeah, sure. So we wanted to get these very close. Well, I don't know if you intended them to be so close, but they ended up being. So, she's supposed to be a very great skier, and so, the day wasn't going well. It was taking longer than expected, so after lunch, I walk out, and there's people laying on the ground with sticks, with tree branches, and there's a blow dryer, and there's a wafting. So when you see, I had somebody take a video. We got it. Funny Pets. Yeah. The most incredible video of this. And so I'm supposed to be very intensely skiing, having a great time, and there's just branches being propelled.
It's really like 1940s filmmaking.
There's a blow dryer in front of me and a wafter.
That is some great movie magic. This might be a producerial question, but was there any apprehension going out on the ice with all that equipment?
Yes. I mean, that you always have to be aware of safety. I mean, it's so important to protect people, and I think it was a little bit nerve-wracking for all of us to be out in the middle of that lake on the ice during a winter that didn't have a lot of cold and didn't have a lot of snow. So I think that it was at certain times when you would hear that ice, that sound, the sunshine, just that with the cracking. So yeah, you have to be really. We had safety people on board.
Can you guys tell me a little bit about being here at Tribeca and debuting it here, maybe versus elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean, for me, we filmed here, and it's such a special experience to film a movie in New York City, and I mean, in the state, and this is just a really respected festival, and I've never gotten to experience it, and I'm happy that it's this movie that we filmed here that gets to play.
Yeah, I actually couldn't be happier, especially I'm living in the Middle East right now, so coming back to New York for this film, and New York has been my home for almost 25 years, and the fact that we shot here, and it just feels like it is a New York story, and so I'm so thankful to the festival for really taking on the film and supporting it.
I could elaborate, they've said it so eloquently. I'm just really happy to be here in New York, Tribeca. It's growing up and really proud of our accomplishment.